Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the installment of Scott's Selections here for Friday, April 23rd. For again today's play of the day, quick recap of what happened yesterday. I'm going to pick up a push in hockey with the Devils and the Penguins over 6 at -112 on DraftKings. Pretty brutal push. You had 3 goals in the first period, 3 goals in the second period, which means that we just needed 1 goal in the last 20 minutes to get a winner. And instead of the free roll working out, we ended up not getting any more goals. So the game ended up landing 5-1. We pushed, which is pretty unfortunate there because we were really looking great early. But either way, a push is better than a loss, and we'll look for a winner here on Friday. For the play of the day, though, we're going to be going back to the NBA. It's going to be a matchup between the Miami Heat and the Atlanta Hawks. They'll be taking place at around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And for the play of the day, we like the Heat -5 and -110 on FanDuel, a time recording of 9 a.m. Eastern Time. A couple reasons why I like the Heat in the spot. First of all, you look at Miami so far this season, this team has been pretty streaky. Seems to either be playing really well or really poorly. And now Miami's going back once again on that positive swing because Miami has won each of its last 3 games, 3-0 ATS during that stretch. Meanwhile, you look at Atlanta, and it has split its last 4 games, been kind of struggling a little bit lately. And I do think that Miami should be able to take advantage of this Atlanta team, especially since the Hawks are probably going to be shorthanded by a pretty decent margin in this matchup. Atlanta has already been announcing that Trae Young is going to be out for the weekend. Trae Young suffered that ankle injury against the Knicks, and they helped carry him off the court. Now, unlike some of the other superstars in the league, Trae Young is not going to be out for the year. He's just going to be out for the weekend. They already tested out the ankle. Test came back negative, but it is sprained, so he has already been ruled out for this game. However, you can make an argument that the bigger news is the other person who might be out for this game, which is Clint Capella. Because Clint Capella has been an absolute monster lately. If you look at his recent performances, and he is questionable with a back injury. Now, you look at the actual standings here. This is actually a very meaningful game for both teams because Miami is currently 1 game behind Atlanta in the division. So, of course, if Miami wins this game, they will naturally be ahead. They would be tied, but Miami would have the tiebreaker temporarily. But you're looking at Capella's numbers here, and he has been a very, very just dominant big man, arguably putting up 20 and 20 every single game that he plays. And the fact that he's even being listed on the injury report and the fact that you have seen some line movement already as the Heat have mostly gone from 5 to 5.5 makes me believe that Capella might not play in this one. And if he's not going to play, they're going to have a serious problem here, both offensively and defensively, because Capella has been fantastic. But either way, even without Young, let's just say that Capella does play and Young does not. Still a big issue because we know how good Miami is defensively, and Atlanta being without its main shot creator and its main distributor, I think will cause some problems for Atlanta's, I'd say, just their overall effectiveness offensively. But Capella is out. This line should probably climb to around, I'd say, 7. But I do think that that's also factoring into why this line has continued to climb with him potentially being out. But either way, you look at Atlanta. I know that I mentioned that this team has split its last 4 games. This team has actually been playing really well before that, though. And over the last couple of weeks, Atlanta has won 9 of its last 12 games. However, you look at the teams that Atlanta has faced, and it's really unimpressive. So you kind of have to wonder if this recent success is due to a quality team or just a very, very weak list of opponents. But to go in order here, beat San Antonio on the road. That's when the streak started. San Antonio, and that game was in double overtime. San Antonio, a pretty mediocre team in the Western Conference. Then beat New Orleans. New Orleans hasn't been very good this season. Beat Golden State. I think we can agree Golden State's been pretty mediocre to slightly below average so far this season. Beat New Orleans again. Ended up playing the first playoff team here with Memphis. Lost by 18 at home. Played Chicago after that. Won. Played Charlotte after that, won. Played Toronto after that, won. Now, of course, with Charlotte, that team's a playoff team, but with all the injuries, that team is definitely nowhere near as good as they were earlier in the year. Toronto has been struggling, so, Atlanta won that one. Then they played Milwaukee, solid team, lost by 11. So that kind of speaks for itself. Played Indiana after that, won by 12. Played Orlando after that, and won by 16. And then played New York and lost by 10 in overtime. But to go through all those teams, seems like every playoff team that they played against, they lost, and every team that they beat was not good enough to make the playoffs. So factor that in as you want, but the point I'm trying to say is that a lot of these teams that they played were pretty underwhelming, and now they're facing off against a good Miami team while being shorthanded. I don't think that's a great spot there for Atlanta, and the markets have started to react accordingly as Miami has taken a ton of money on the overnight and the early part of the morning. But now looking at some trends for this matchup here, the Heat are 6-2 ATS in their last 8 games, following a straight-up win. And the Hawks, to prove my theory here, the Hawks are 1-6 ATS in their last 7 games versus a team with a winning straight-up record. So once again, Atlanta seems to be a team that beats up on weaker teams and struggles against the superior competition. And with the shorthanded roster, I think Miami is by far the superior team in the spot. Let's play the day once again here for Friday. April 23rd is going to be on the Heat, -5 and -110 on FanDuel. That's been this installment. Scott talking to all of you and respective bets today. Bye, everyone.